Namaste, everybody. Grateful to be here with you all. Hope that your first week back at school is moving along gracefully. So, if you haven't, just take a seat and find a tall spine, and we'll do a little check-in. Allow your eyes to close. And become aware of the internal state, what you're experiencing at this time, this moment. Maybe you notice thoughts moving through the mind, or physical sensation in the body. Or any emotions that are present, just being aware. See if you can let go of judgment. Become aware of your breathing. And as you settle into your body, make the rounds. Scan areas that may be holding resistance or tension. Notice areas that feel open, that feel light. And become aware of your breath. This breath that sustains the body. You may notice that with that awareness, the breathing changes. Allow that to happen. Noting that our breath is what keeps us grounded, keeps us present within the here and now, which is where yoga begins and ends. And so now that we're a little more settled in, you can gently open your eyes and rub your palms together, create a little friction. Place your hands over your throat, gently. Take a deep breath. Take your hands on your shoulders, give yourself a little massage. Massage your neck. Good. All right. So along with breathing, another way to cultivate presence is within sound. And so if you've ever heard the sound of the Om, Om, that sound is like a tool, a mantra, tool of the mind. And so I thought today for this practice we would just begin with some Oming. It may be a little different for you if you've never tried it, but don't be afraid. There's no expectation, right? Let go of that and give yourself a chance just to feel. So take a deep breath in. Say O. O. Good. And now the Ah. Deep breath. Ah. And the Take a deep breath. And so in bringing together these three syllables, we create the Om, which is a sound that connects us to all things, which is, at the essence, that's what yoga is, union. Yoga means union. And there are many ways to create that union, by breathing, by staying present. There are a lot of tools that help us to get there. So the Om is just a tool. So find a tall spine, relax your shoulders, let your eyes close, and we'll sound 3 Oms consecutively. Let the eyes close, become aware of your breathing. And we'll go for it. Take a deep breath. And again. And once more. Let yourself relax into the silence. Good. So there are actually 4 parts to the Om. The last part being the silence, resting into that state of stillness, is part of where the power of that mantra is held. Okay. So let's check to see if you have your journal. I think we're going to use the blanket and the pillow today, at least. And we'll begin first by making a small bolster with the blanket. So you'll want to just have your blanket like so, about. Roll it, and we're going to start in a child's pose. So if you find that your knees are a little creaky this morning, you can use this blanket to go underneath your thighs, pressing in between at the calves. Child's pose is a resting pose, and it goes something like this. You let your elbows come down, you relax your head. If you're finding that your head doesn't come all the way to the earth, use a block underneath for support. Okay. If that works, then good. Try to find a place where you're most able to be comfortable and to relax into the earth. We're going to start closing the eyes. And tuning in to the body again, once again to the breath. Start to let your breath deepen. With that deepening, you want to feel some pressure in the belly pressing against your thighs so that you're breathing all the way into your lower lungs. Let each exhale help you to relax a little more and make any adjustments that you need to. So child's pose is one way to really help to relax the body, to get seated into the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation response. Just in closing your eyes, you have to be able to trust. And within that trust, your body is more able to relax. Good. Let's come up onto all fours, what we call table pose. And we'll do a little manipulation of the spine, or cat-cows. So your hands underneath your shoulders, you're going to exhale to round the back, tucking the chin in, emptying of breath. Moving forward, inhale to lift your head, tilting the tailbone up. Breathe into the belly. Let's go slow. A few like these. Exhaling to sink back. Inhaling to move forward. If you find this is difficult for your knees, place your blanket underneath them. Give your body a little movement, get into what you're feeling. If the body feels like it wants to move one way, then follow that intuition and allow yourself to explore. Do just a few more. All right, now to wake up the feet. Again, this can be a good place for your blanket underneath the knees. We're gonna come up to kneeling position, tucking the toes and bringing weight back into the heels. This can be a lot, so if you need to, lean forward, touch the earth, take pressure off the feet. Allow yourself to breathe deeply into the belly. Relax the shoulders. And relaxing the jaw, maybe open your mouth wide, say ah. Good. Breathing into the feet. Trying to come back to the equanimity of mind, that place in between non-judgment, observation. Remembering that this is only temporary. Take a break any time that you need to, but do the best that you can. This is definitely one of those postures that can take a slow penetration into. Remember, slow penetration, success in all things, little at a time. Our feet do so much for us, but oftentimes we forget to take care of them. So, although this can be intense, this is showing the feet some love. Alright, we'll come forward again. Let the tops of your feet come down this time. And if it's alright with your knees, try leaning back to whatever degree feels best for you. Breathing deeply. Okay. Let's come forward again. And keep your blanket handy if you want to set it up to sit on. This could be a good thing. We'll come to a seated position, extending the left leg out, getting both sit bones grounded. So if you want to kind of get your seat nice and close to the earth, again, sit up tall, find your breath, and we'll begin maybe to move forward in between the knees. There's no rush to get anywhere. Maybe you want to keep your eyes closed and keep tuning in to areas of resistance that come up. So for this introduction into yoga, I thought it would be a good thing to start off slowly. The style that we're practicing here is known as a yin style. And if you've ever heard of yin yang, you might have an idea of what yin energy is like. Yin energy is yielding, it's allowing. It's not forceful. So in allowing ourselves to breathe and patiently allowing the connective tissue around each muscle, which is what's known as fascia, we employ the elements of yin energy into the way that we're moving our bodies. And that's why it's called yin. Some other symbolism for yin might be the moon, which is always shifting. The shadow shifts on the moon. It can be water, The water is always flowing. It doesn't try to resist anything. It just, if there's a boulder in the middle of a creek, it moves around, right? Stay with your breathing and practice patience with your body. Typically in posture that is yin, you want to spend at least 1 to 5 minutes within each posture. That's how long it takes to be able to stretch that connective tissue, fascia. So just a little more to go. And remember that adjustments are always available. If you find yourself too far into the pose, then just ease out. Take a breath and reevaluate. And if you find that you maybe become stagnant in the pose, like standing still or stuck, then again, you can ease out, or you could try moving further, moving deeper. And what we call in yoga that the balance of that is finding your edge. Right? That edge being anything less, not enough, anything more, too much. Let's take 3 more deep breaths. Try to make these last breaths as full as you can. All right, we'll walk both hands back. Help your legs come together, and you can place your feet kind of wide, maybe do a little windshield wiper. All right. Let's switch to the other side. This posture has the benefit of stretching the lower back as well as the inner thigh. So again, you want to get your seat nice and close to the earth. Find that breath. And start with awareness. Close your eyes. What are you feeling? Could it be different on this side? Most likely, yes. Remember patience, remember kindness toward your body. In yoga, although we're practicing feeling, we also want to use the analytical mind to discriminate what's feeling good, what's not feeling good. That discernment of awareness is important in all aspects of this practice and in life. The more aware we are of balancing what we think, what we take in, the more able we are to come from a place of true authenticity, true rootedness. I have to stop there and turn that off. Hang on. Still breathing? Right. Because in particular, at this time, there can be a lot of extremes in life. And when we can balance those extremes in our life, it helps us to rise, right? Not being pulled so far to one side or the other, but rather rooting down, so that what we truly believe and what we feel can rise up in our dreams or goals that we set for ourselves. So when you spend this time practicing, slowing down, let it be a time to give yourself for clarity, for stepping out of the drama of your story. Into the here and now. Stay with your breath. Keep coming back inside. As you adjust and move into the pose, you may find certain areas of the body soften, and then in reaction, other areas soften. And because each muscle is connected in this system that is the body, affecting one area will almost oftentimes always affect another area. So see if as you're breathing, as you're moving deeper into your body, you can sense what areas hold connection. Just a few more breaths here. Okay, slowly we'll rise up. Gently come out of the pose. Might do a little windshield wiper. All right. We're going to go back to the left leg, extending out. This time, we're going to work on a side bend. It may be helpful to have a block. And so what we'll do is, again, get nice and grounded. And then with your block somewhere close to the knee, resting on the earth, you can place your left elbow. Rest your head in your left hand. And with the top shoulder, move it open toward the ceiling. Okay. Stay here, take a breath. Let that right hip be heavy, close to the earth. Keep on focusing on the weight there, just relaxing down. So often we kind of forget that we can move laterally. Remember, two directions in which the healthy spine moves side to side. And when we stretch this area of the body, it helps us to be able to expand our lungs, softening the connective tissue in the rib cage. If you feel like you want to move deeper, you might rest your elbow on your leg or lower the block. Try to keep the right shoulder open toward the ceiling. And also, you might try reaching with your right arm up and over, keeping the elbow drawn back, resting the right hand at the back of the head. If this is too much, then you can stay where we were. Continue to breathe. Expansive breaths into the right side. Maybe starting to feel some intensity building. As long as you can stay with your breath and not be in pain, then roll with it. Explore those areas of intensity, allowing your breath to help keep you calm during the process. Again, that's a quality of rootedness. Rootedness in presence, stability of the mind. Just a few more breaths here. You can slowly rise up. Find a tall spine and take a moment to move any way that feels good. All right, switching to the other side. And again, just to reiterate, everybody's going to look differently. So if you find that you're, contemplating if you're doing this right based off of what it looks like, let go of that and try to come back to what it feels like for you. Because that is what's important, that this should feel good. Pain-free, maybe some discomfort involved, but that's life, right? There's always going to be some elements of discomfort, whether it's physical, social, psychosocial, or emotional. And that's something that we can't change, right? The intensity that we experience as humans it's a part of life. What we can change is how we see it and how we move through it. And so when you get into those tight spots that are uncomfortable, notice how you move through them. Or if you resist them, or become ambivalent, or if you avoid them. Right? This is the practice, moving through our stuff. So again, with the top shoulder, you're rolling it open toward the ceiling. Breath is nice and steady. Hips are solidly grounded into the earth. And as human beings, within this sort of zoo of the world, challenges arise, and sometimes we can feel stuck. But yoga as a tool is a means to which to embrace adaptiveness. Flexibility. And that is something that comes with training the body, training the mind. Again, if you want to move more deeply into the pose, try taking your top hand around to the back of the head. Keep the left shoulder opening up toward the ceiling. Yeah, just a few more breaths here. Hang in. Okay. Rise back to center. Let your body move. Okay. All right, for our next posture, we're going to do both legs out wide. Seat is grounded. Probably sit on your blanket. And slowly begin to move forward. Try to keep the extension through the heart. So the spine is long and the heart's lifted. Breathing. And if this is a bit much on your knees, or if it's just too intense in general, you can try coming back to one foot into the opposite thigh and folding forward again in that pose. Switching midway. Scan the body, check in to see what's going on. If it's comfortable, you can use a block as a prop in front. About halfway there. Alright. We'll start to come up. Good. Should be feeling pretty stretched out by now. Before we move on to the floor, to lying on our backs, let's cover the journal topic. So grab your pen and your notebook, and what I would like you to write about for this class is we talked a little bit about grounding, right? That feeling of calm, centeredness, which may occur even amidst chaos or disturbance in your environment. You know, how are you able to feel that that feeling of groundedness, of presence, and availability to be here and now without being distracted by what's going on around you. So what I would like you to write is list 3 things that help you to feel that way. And you might have to think about it a little bit, you know. Where are you whenever you feel that feeling most? You know, what are you doing? Are you cooking a meal, or working on your bicycle outside, working with your hands, listening to calm music, breathing, so on and so forth. So list 3 things and write a little bit about each one. You know, what the circumstances are, and how you feel, and maybe even how you came to discover that that's what helps you to feel that way. Right. Let's come down to lying on our backs. And make sure that your blanket and your blocks are handy. That was a good one. So coming down to lying on your back, and just to note, within that journal topic, it's relevant, especially in this time where things can be so uncertain, and maybe we find ourselves a lot of the time being in this limbo of kind of feeling this transition and maybe feeling a little unstable at times, which is okay, but can sometimes lend itself to just maybe aimlessness or feeling like you're in a doldrum. So the practice of journaling about what does help you to feel grounded will hopefully encourage you to practice those things more. That's the idea. All right. Let's bring both knees into the heart. Again, give yourself a little squeeze. Bring your knees towards your chest. Take a deep breath. In here, place your left foot on the floor. Take your fingers, interlace them around your right shin. If you can't quite get your shin, place them around your right thigh. And if that's still a little difficult, you could grab your strap and strap the leg and hold it that way. But for now, let's find a place that's comfortable, right? Maybe your right knee draws out to the side a little bit. You can rest your elbow on the floor or a block. Come back to your breathing, and maybe at this point, if you feel relaxed enough, you can let the left leg slide out a bit to rest on either the floor or maybe your blanket underneath the left knee. It's always nice to be supported, to feel support. So use your props as you need to. Let the eyes close and breathe into the belly. This is a pose that helps the iliopsoas to relax, as well as the hip flexors. Now the psoas is the deepest muscle in the body that runs along the spine horizontally, and oftentimes can be a site of chronic tension. And because it does so much for us, it supports the upper body, basically connecting the lower body and the upper body. So it doesn't get to rest very often. And also because it's the deepest muscle, it can hold trauma, things that happen to us tend to be stored very deeply in the body. Hips, psoas, those muscles like underneath the scapula, the shoulders. So let the body relax into the pose, let go. Make any adjustments that you need along the way. Few more breaths here. All right, when you exhale, just see if you can release the right leg as gently as you can, letting it come down to the earth and slide out. A little movement. Anything that feels good. And we'll change sides. Holding either the shin, the thigh, or using the strap. Maybe resting the left elbow onto the earth. Make any final adjustments. Oh, and starting off with the right knee bent. Allowing the breath to flow. And in time, maybe you straighten your right leg back out again. Eyes are closed, concentrating on what's within. See, that's one of the limbs of the 8-limb system of yoga known as Ashtanga. Is pratyahara, meaning sensory withdrawal. Whenever we limit energy to one system of taking in information, in this case the eyes, what we see, if we close our eyes, will we have more energy to devote to what's happening within? And this is an important thing. Especially because we're so active with our eyes. If you can think of a time that you're actually able to just close your eyes during the day, you might be hard pressed. Other than going to sleep at night or taking a nap, we get very little time to rest our eyes. Breathing is steady, body's relaxed. Just a few more deep breaths. And on the exhale, gently release the left leg, let it slide out. Take a little movement, stretch. Alrighty. Where are we at? Okay. Alright, just a couple more poses before we rest, but this one you ought to like. Very soothing for the nervous system. Let's take a block or two, place it beside you, and take both hands down alongside your hips and pull your navel in toward your spine so you feel activation through the core. And it's like you're opening a can, like rolling a can opener. Tailbone will come up slowly, rolling off of the floor. And then the lower back. Try to manipulate each vertebrae to come up one at a time. Breathing while you go. We'll then place one block underneath the hips at the sacrum, so just below the waistline. Or, if possible, and if it feels good, try using both blocks, letting your body rest on the blocks and adjusting any ways that you need to. Maybe you allow your palms to turn face up. Let your breathing continue. Now a little more intensity. If you walk your feet a little closer to your blocks and then try extending one leg just for a moment or two. This may feel good to you or it may be too intense. But do what's right, do what's best for you, what feels good. Switch sides. If you want to try both legs, go for it. Before we come down, you might try lifting both legs into the air. Coming back to the earth with both feet, you can slide your blocks out, coming down gently. And when ready, bringing both knees back into the chest. We're going to cross the right knee over the left. Try to keep your legs at a 90-degree angle from your torso. Bring both knees to the left. Now, you could use your blanket underneath your knees. Important to keep your shoulders connected to the earth. And you can turn your head over your right shoulder. Rising back to center. We'll change sides. Left knee over the right and try to keep both shoulders grounded, connected to the earth, turning your head to the left. Come back to center. Take another moment to move any ways that feel good to you. You might try happy baby with hands on the feet or the shins, even holding the thighs. Again, whatever your body's calling for at this moment. And then we'll take rest. You may want to take your blanket and roll it. Something like this. Place it underneath your knees. And you want your toes to kind of point outward. Relaxing the thighs, letting the thigh bones splay out, and drawing the shoulders a little closer together so that the front of the body can soften. And lastly, turning your palms to face upward, hopefully with nothing touching your hands or your feet, so that you can relax completely. Shavasana means corpse pose. So this position is like being a corpse, like we're letting go of everything. Letting go of the practice, letting go of who we are. Complete surrender into the earth, letting the nature of that surrender heal us, right? So just feel the subtlety of your breathing, not forcing, not trying to breathe in any way. And take rest. begin to move the body once more, waking up gently to the thumbs over the fingertips, rotating the wrists and the ankles. You can bring your feet together, stretch your arms overhead. Draw your knees into your heart. Send yourself loving kindness, metta. Giving yourself gratitude for doing something good for yourself, for your body and your mind and your spirit. Rock to one side and slowly come up. Alright, finding a tall spine. Hope this practice serves you. As always, things are constantly evolving and changing, so find the yin energy within yourself to be able to move, to be able to flow through life gracefully. And so I say to you, In Lakesh Alakin, which is an expression of oneness. I am the other you. Comes from the Yucatan of the Mayan people. Namaste.